this video, I want to talk about triggers. And triggers can come from PTSD, and they can come from different events. You can have triggers from anything from when you were first diagnosed, and something triggers that reminder, and you go through it and you need to cope. But there are some triggers that you can't really control how you cope with them. For me, this is my personal story, and I told you I would be perfectly authentic in all of this, and so I am. In July of 2021, I started going to the doctor because it was the year after my stroke, and I was in a lot of pain. My skin was in a lot of pain on my butt. So every time I sat down, it was painful. It was painful to the point I was crying. And then I couldn't even sit down anymore. I would have to lay on my side. So I kept going to the doctors, and they kept telling me, and this wasn't my oncologist, this was just regular doctors. And they were saying, oh, it's just allergies. It's just allergies. It's just allergies. Okay, so I kept taking allergy medicine, and it wasn't helping. I took, I couldn't get any pain medication because that's what they thought I just was there for, was pain medication. So they wouldn't give me any of that because, you can't take NSAIDs. You have to take narcotics, but they won't give them to you because they think you'll become addicted. I mean, I'm already terminally ill. Like, really? Who cares if I get addicted to something? But whatever. Anyways, that is my trigger. Pain pills are my trigger because I have been accused since I was diagnosed of being a pill popper by friends and family, and some of the people closest to me still consider me that. They still consider me a druggie, and that's not true. That is not true. I learned my lesson because, well, number one, I couldn't get any pain medication anyways because when I was going to palliative care, the palliative care people turned me over to said, no, we're not going to prescribe that anymore. You need to go to your doctor. So I went to my doctor. My doctor was like, I can't give you pain medication. Okay, well, where the hell am I supposed to go? So anyways, I just learned to live with the pain of the nails, the pain of the fatigue, the pain of my ribs that are deteriorating because of radiation on the right side. I can't even bend over for long periods of time. I've learned to live with that pain, and it comes and goes, and sometimes I just have to snap back and lay down because of the rib pain. Anyways, back to my story. When I was going to the doctors and they wouldn't give me anything for the pain that was on my butt, I found a fentanyl patch, and it had belonged to one of my relatives who passed of cancer. And it was the only thing I had for relief. I needed relief. I needed it so bad that I was crying, and nobody in the area I was living with would do anything about it. I mean, at the ER, anywhere. So I was crying, and I stuck it on there it was an extended release, and I was like, I'll just put it on here for a little bit, pain will stop, and then I'll take it off. Well, I fell asleep. And, nobody really means to overdose in most cases, but I did. And luckily, I was dating someone, and we were in bed, and I started foaming at the mouth, and I don't remember any of this. I just know that I went to sleep, and it was so peaceful that I didn't want to wake up. I just wanted to keep sleeping. And the next thing I know, I hear someone yelling my name, and they're like, wake up, and they mention my daughter. And that made me say, okay, I gotta get up. And when I opened my eyes, it was like a cloud. It was weird. It was like there were clouds, spooky, I don't know. But I couldn't talk, and I just started reaching up, and it was the paramedic. I don't know, I was in the back of an ambulance because they had to give me narco, and so I was reaching for him, and because I was trying to come out of this thing that was killing me, I died. So when I reached up, I came back, and he was asking me the name of the president. I didn't know anything at the time, because I had just woken up from death. Like, how do you remember that? And they took me on to the hospital to see if I had any damage to my brain since that had happened. And when I didn't, they treated me like shit. They were like, oh, she's an overdose. So they sent me in there, and the doctors were like, whatever. The doctor that was there, I will have to say, was pretty good, because I heard them talking about me being an overdose, and I was just laying there and after the MRI, and finally I got up, pulled my pants down, showed them my butt, and said, no, I am in pain. And the doctor looked, and I had boils and abscesses there. I know. Sorry. Don't eat if you're watching this. I need to put a trigger warning on this. But, so he said he wanted them biopsied ASAP. And so the other physicians or medical students or whoever they were, nurses, they went through and got this stuff out of the boils and the things that were causing me pain. And I could feel it release. And it was so good to feel that release. Then he came back and told me it was a staph infection, and that he would have to put me on some treatment, and he gave me pain medication. And I was like, thank you. I had to overdose to get pain medication as a cancer patient, which pisses me off so bad. Really. The DEA needs to understand that we can't take NSAIDs. Like, what are we supposed to do? It's not like I'm over there going, hey, give me pain pills all the time. No, I haven't even taken any since I had rotator cuff surgery back in November, September? I can't remember. But last year. And, I had extras, and I kept them on me in case I needed them for a headache or something like that. But I didn't take them. And I was very thankful that doctor actually paid attention. And from that, I started getting sick the next year, January of 2022. I was really sick, and I couldn't get over this cold. And I kept going to the doctor, and they kept saying it was a sinus infection over and over and over. And they were trying to treat me. I wasn't getting any better. So I got really mad, and I flipped out on the doctor, and they actually threatened to call the police on me. Yeah, not first time. So when I actually got, the manager drove up there, and it was on a Saturday, I think, and she said, I'll have to ask the doctor if he'll even see you. Well, luckily, it was one of the physicians that knew me, and he knew what was going on with me, and he said, yes, I'll see her. And so I went back, and he did a swab of my nose and came back and said that I had MRSA. And so the treatment that he was putting me on at the time, he said, if this doesn't help, you're going to have to go to the hospital, and you're going to have to be hospitalized. Because, MRSA, you can't treat that. And so now that's something I have to watch out for. If I start getting an infection, like in my nails right now, I have to watch for boils or anything to pop up on my arms, my legs, my butt, my face, anywhere. They can pop up anywhere if you get the infection in your bloodstream. So for a while there in 2022, I was getting it over and over. And when I got MRSA, I actually got it on my leg one time, and I was so tired of going to the doctor. And I do not condone this to anyone, because it can kill you. But you don't want to get septic. And of course, I pulled up Google videos, and I had a boil on my leg, and it wasn't going away with the medicine or anything. And I knew it needed to be drained because the MRSA was there, or it was going to pop and get into my bloodstream. So instead of going to the doctor, I, without any kind of pain medication or anything, took a knife and cut it out of my leg. Don't do this. Don't ever do this. It was the dumbest thing I think I did. I've got a big, huge scar on my leg from it. But I learned that you have to go from the side, because like if you try to just puncture it and drain it, it'll push it down further. So you have to come in from the side so you can push all of the fluid out through the side. So yeah, I did that. So never do that. That was dumb. Just go to the doctor. They'll do it for you, and they'll probably give you some pain medication for it. But I was so triggered by like asking for pain medication. I didn't want to ask for it anymore. And so recently, when someone mentioned that, they couldn't find their pain meds, and they were like, well, where'd you put them? And I said, I haven't seen her pain medication. I don't know. And it turned out to be this big fight, and I started crying because that's a trigger. I mean, that is such a huge trigger, because I died. I mean, pain medication, thought that everyone was accused to me. Doctors, family, friends. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it hurts so bad. So I would rather be in pain and sit here with these nails and stuff than have to take pain medication and be accused of being a pill popper again. I am over that. But the last time someone did it was last month. And when I started crying, it's like, don't bring up triggers, number one, if you're a caretaker, or you're a friend or family member. But number two, when you see that the person is reacting the way I was reacting, don't antagonize them. I started crying. I had hardly any sleep. And I just started crying, saying, check my stuff, and, you know, here's everything I own, go through it, check me, call the police, have them come out here and do a search on me, so that way we can clear myself. But no, they didn't do that. They antagonized me and told me I was spiraling and I was psychotic and out of control and so many more things. And it's not like they said it in a way that was like, oh, you're spiraling. No, it was like, well, you're spiraling. And you're the last one here. And yeah, you're a little psycho. You need to get some help. That is not good for someone who is suffering from a trigger from PTSD. Don't do that. No, you comfort them. You comfort them, and you try to understand and recognize the symptoms that they're going through. Because that hurts so much. I mean, I just beg you, if you know me, do not bring up pain medication around me or bring up me taking it, because I'm not. And I'll give a drug test any freaking day. I'm not. I live with pain. I live with pain because I have been made to feel like I am a piece of shit and all I do is pop pills and I'm a bad mother. That's the way I have been made to feel by some of you. And so that's why we don't talk anymore. And nobody really knows all this unless they've gone through it. Unless they've walked in my shoes. They don't know. But they can't even take my word for it. They always think the worst. Treat me like a third-rate citizen because I'm on disability and I can't work because I have so many side effects all the time. So just think about that next time, okay? Because if you set someone off and you set their trigger off, you are so lucky that I believe so much in the Lord and had to give it to Him. Otherwise, I was contemplating suicide. But I would never do that to my daughter. And I would never do that to God, because He has me here for a reason. But I just wanted to share that story. It's very personal, but it's authentic. And I hope that you take something from it and learn to be compassionate, step in their shoes, read about it, do some research, read about what triggers are and how to help the people that are living with a chronic illness or chronic cancer cope, how to help them. Because if you are not educated in that, you're going to destroy them. Like I said yesterday, you're going to destroy the relationship that we've had. And then one day it's going to happen to you, and you're going to realize that what you did, all those memories, everything that you did, made me leave. And that's why we lost our relationship. So don't lose your relationship with your loved ones, especially the ones that are fighting for their lives every single day. It's hard. Thank you for listening. And gosh, I gotta put some motivational stuff on here. I will soon.